A company by the name of Azzule approached me a few years ago as the new kid on the block with the mini PC market. I checked out their Byte Plus and Access Plus PC and actually loved what I saw. But there were definitely a few key points that actually held me back from recommending it for absolutely everyone out there. But now, I think Azzule actually really hit the nail on the head with this one. Meet the Byte 3, the only mini PC that you may ever need. Let's talk about that. Want to see more content like this? Please consider supporting us on Patreon with rewards like custom roles on our Discord server and one-on-one build consultations. You also even get access to behind the scenes released content before it even goes live. Check the link down below to learn more. The Byte 3 is a mini fanless PC designed for home theater and light office workloads with a small footprint. The model that I have here rocks the Apollo Lake N3450 processor, a quad-core chip with a base clock of 1.1 GHz and a boost of 2.2. The Byte 3 also comes in two models, one with 4 GB of RAM and one with 8. The model that I have here is the 4 GB model and it comes in at a price tag of $200. Pretty awesome value for the money, and honestly may be the go-to option with the workloads that you would be in theory doing with a machine like this. 8 GB, as crazy as it sounds, may actually be overkill for something like this, especially at a price tag of $330 for a 4 GB RAM upgrade. I really think surviving on the 4 GB of RAM will be your best option for this machine. Regardless of the model that you get, the Byte 3 actually comes with 32 GB of eMMC storage, which comes pre-installed with Windows 10 Pro and actually ends up being roughly 18 GB after that install. This amount of storage is honestly acceptable for a machine like this. Again, keep in mind its target audience. 18 GB is more than enough to install a few media players and get a browser to go on Netflix. Speaking of streaming content, inside the box you even get an included remote. While it does not work well for navigating Windows because of just some weird clunkiness, it does work pretty well with some media players with basic functionality. How about we take a look at those specs again for a little bit, because there's something I left out that is very interesting. What if you actually needed more storage, or maybe faster storage? Well, the Byte 3 actually supports a M.2 drive upgrade along with support for 82.5-inch SSD. That right there is a massive concern for me back with the original Byte 2, but now you can actually get under the hood of this thing and upgrade the storage. Really awesome that you can actually get inside this thing and do stuff with it. As for included ports, you get plenty of them, and some really fast ones at that. There are 4 USB ports in general, 2 that are USB 3, 1 USB 2, oh, and yes, a USB Type-C port. The Type-C port comes with transfer speeds up to 10 gigabits per second and really adds another dimension for me. With how low power machines like this are, rocking only 6 watt TDP, you could get away with an external USB Type-C drive and create a badass storage server or a full-blown NAS all in one tiny package. While yes, Azzule does say that installing third-party OSs will void your warranty with them, keep that in mind if you plan on doing it. It is definitely an option that I would say at least consider, because I've done the same thing. I actually turned the Access Plus, the little stick PC, into a full-blown emulator system using the nice interface of Retro OS. Video out options are pretty standard. You get VGA, HDMI, and HDMI that supports 4K at 60 Hz, which is really nice, but should be expected in the 4K mainstream days that we are in. And as far as connectivity goes, you get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, and the IR receiver for the included remote that I mentioned at the beginning of this review. Not just for the fun of it, I decided to throw this thing into the fire of Cinebench and see what kind of score it would crank out. To no surprise, it took a long time to finish, and the scores, well, I'm just gonna let you all look at them. I'm not even gonna tell you what they are. But this is one of those times where synthetic numbers really do not matter. Let me explain. Windows 10 is snappy on this machine and would be even more snappy with an M.2 or even SATA-based SSD. The little Celeron CPU in this thing does get bogged down at some times, but has no issues with basic media playback. And I did actually experience some issues with the original Byte using Netflix, where I would get some stutters over time. There are none of those issues this time around. So honestly, I see no issue with getting something like this for a media center PC. While there are much more affordable streaming options out there like a Chromecast, you're getting a full-blown PC in a small footprint with complete silence that just can't be built from parts lying around. Plus, the power draw on this thing is so insignificant, it makes sense to have this as a possible NAS setup running 24/7. For $200, yes, you're paying a little bit of a pretty penny, but I highly recommend that you give this one a look. I think Azzule has listened to the reviewers like myself on their complaints on the first model and implemented some quality changes to it, which I love to hear from brands and love to see that they actually listen to what we offer. And I look forward to seeing what they can produce in the near future. And that about wraps things up here, guys. If you like this video, leave a like down below and comment what you think. Of course, if you're interested in picking up any of these products mentioned in the video, links are always in the description down below. Check out Azzule's website. They're a really awesome company and worked with us many times before, and I highly recommend you give their products a look. And if you aren't already, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord community, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content like this, and subscribe once again, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.